We're all the way here. Yes. Called forward, as always, as usual. Taking that time to find the balance, the center. Finding the breath. And knowing that spikes in and out, they come and go. But that's not what this is about. This isn't about stepping away from life and dismissing any of those experiences. This isn't about pretending away what's going on, but it's about being able to find your center.
I think I've been struggling with that a little bit this past week, and it became more apparent when I had that incident in the hospital over the weekend, and my blood pressure was so sky high that they wouldn't let me leave. And I thought, you know, what am I resisting? What am I, I can feel the emotion of, fear and sadness and um
But you see that very question,
yeah,
that's where it starts. The question, what am I resisting?
yeah.
How does that question feel?
Feels like there's something wrong.
And so do you want to continue down that path?
No, no, I don't. I told,
So let's talk about how to let it go.
okay, cool.
So the breath, it's consistent. You find a neutral place. That question is not neutral. It's still in this mindset of having to go and fix something,
Yeah,
to change something because what's going on is not right.
yep.
So that's the first step down that path. And you can already tell how it's affecting you. It's easier now that you've stepped out of the situation. It always is. But the more you can recognize it, the easier it is to recognize it sooner and sooner. But you have to find that neutral place. So that's why we say find your center, find the breath. Not because there's anything profound in the breath, but because there's nothing going on with it.
Yep, that's true. I mean, you hit the nail on the head there with the belief that there's something wrong with, my outside conditions or circumstances. And I recognize that that's the judgment that I've made, that I'm finding so hard. I really am struggling with.
And so how does that
Oh,
path feel that you're walking down? You're walking down a path with, in other words, take that statement,
yeah,
and instead of examining it for some sort of end result you think you're going to get from it, analyze it or register it in terms of the feeling.
yeah.
So can you say that back?
I feel sad and scared and anxious.
And so the habit is to now want to fix the fear, fix the sadness, fix the anxiety, to discover what's gone wrong and to make it right. But you can feel the motion going in that direction of that habit. So recognition In other words, that's more than enough. You have the recognition. Now what? That's your choice. Do you go deeper into it? Do you dig it up? Do you examine it? Do you explain it to others? Do you explain it to yourself? Do you try to use it like a puzzle piece to make everything make sense? Feel how each of those options resonates. There's tension, there's frustration, there's confusion, there are things not working. So evaluate each of those possible paths that you can go down, not in terms of what you think the end result is going to be. In other words, well, I'll figure it out and it'll be not great during the figuring out, but once I get the answer, then the juices will be really flowing. And we say it doesn't work like that.
So the other approach is to allow the feeling to be, and perhaps it grows, which I think is what I'm afraid of. You know what I mean? It's like I'm afraid of feeling that sadness, yet I'm feeling it. It's kind of a weird thing. Like I'm afraid of feeling angry, I'm afraid of feeling resentful, I'm afraid of feeling mad.
So that's the recognition.
Yeah.
But how does that feel? Do you want to continue digging into that?
No.
So what's the other option? And we know what the fear is. The fear is that you'll let this go and things will get out of control. And meanwhile, you've enjoyed yourself and allowed yourself the comfort and the relaxation, when instead you could have been fixing a problem. And all of this time that you spend enjoying your life is wasted time. Meanwhile, the problem's gotten out of control. And now you're so far along that you should have started it so long ago. We understand that, but feel that approach. That's not where inspiration comes from. And we know you have felt inspiration through doing it the other way in regards to many other things. And this is no different. It isn't. The only difference is the habit, what you've been practicing.
It
And you
has.
can allow the habit to change by recognizing it and letting it go.
Yeah.
And even before you speak here, weigh your options
Yeah.
and weigh them in terms of that resonance or the discord, the relief or the hustle and grind. And be careful with this next statement, because you want to put a but in there.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where the rubber meets the road. This is the doing of that process. And of course, it's experiential and energetic and decisive and engaging. That means you're really doing it. So start out letting it be a little fun, a little playful, a little bit more of a game rather than a process, rather than something strict that you must follow or else. But we keep interrupting you because we want to make sure that you're following this, you're feeling it, and using that criteria before you consciously decide which statement to utter, which is just an extension of your state of being.
Yeah. Well, I guess I just want to say that the pain is still very palpable. And I see it's almost like I feel the pain, but I see the value of moving through it and stepping into a different perspective. So that's where I'm kind of caught.
Those are wonderful words, and we can debate on how accurate or inaccurate or effective they may or may not be, but we're not asking for a multiple choice and you choose the correct answer.
I know.
We're looking for the visceral feeling with this.
Yeah. I mean, the visceral feeling kind of sucks right now. I'm sorry.
And so
That,
just lean a little bit. You can feel that's the recognition. Now let's lean a little bit in and just treat it like a game. Even if this is something you just do for the duration of this conversation
okay.
and you never do it again. Give yourself that leeway
Okay.
to just really not only let it go, but to move in the other direction. Just true for a moment, find that balance.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's a neutral point. The breath is wonderful, whatever you need to use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And feel it in the body as you're reaching through your thoughts. One feels like a recoiling and attention and almost to defend yourself and to gird yourself against some sort of danger, and recognize the opposite.
Oof. Um, yeah. Well, the opposite is more a sense of freedom, of allowing, of kind of just loving myself through this, feeling like it's okay.
And that's not the whole story, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And you're not just saying that to convince yourself of it, but you feel that.
Yeah. Yeah. I do. I do. I mean, there
But
is,
and
yeah.
let's even hold on, because let's just sort of stay there.
Hmm.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
And you don't have to use the words even. You can just become familiar with that feeling.
Hmm.
And then be deliberate in the next step, in the next thought, in the next thing that you say. Be mindful and aware before you say it, before you even really let yourself articulate it in thought within yourself. Be aware. Is it clamping down? Is it letting go?
It's letting go. It's letting go. And that's what came to mind. That's what came up for me. It's letting go. It's just letting go of that and not having to be something else, but just letting go of all of it in a way. Yeah.
And you're checking in with the self, you're checking in with the physical body, you're feeling.
Hmm.
Does
Hmm.
that feel like tension? Does it feel like letting go?
No, it feels like letting go.
And so now what's the work? The work is not to, now that you found that relaxed state, to figure it all out now, but it's to stay there and let the next thing come to you.
Mhm. Yeah.
And now the old thoughts, they come up, but as soon as they come up, instead of saying, well, let's talk about this, and here's another thought, we need to talk about this, here's another thought, I need to talk about that, you just recognize the thought. You feel, I don't really need to go there. And you let it pass you by. That's how you change the habit. That's how you change the belief. That's how you change the approach. That's how you change your state of being.
Mhm. No, that feels better. That feels good. That feels lighter.
Indeed. And in that recognition, it feels a little better still.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a big difference. So that's good. I can see it, feel it. Yeah. So as those thoughts are coming up, I'm just letting them go. I'm
Yes.
just noticing them and I'm
Yes.
just letting them go.
And that's the belief changing. That's the habit changing. That's the pattern changing.
Mhm.
Recognition, decision.
Mhm. Mhm.
Hmm.
When I notice the tug of war, in a sense, between the thoughts, the old thought energy and the, kind of wanting to pull me back, just recognizing that I don't have to, I can choose something else, kind of brings up this inner sort of, I don't know what it is, justification or whatever, that, yeah, but what about this? And what about that? And what about this? So that's part of the habit. That's
It
part of
is.
yeah. Mhm.
And your recognition that the thought is a thought,
Mhm.
you get to weigh it, you get to pick and choose.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's definitely helpful to yeah. Mhm.
And let all of the end results that you're seeking flow from that process. In other words, you know that that relaxation, that openness lets your whole body work more efficiently, gets things where they need to go.
Yeah.
But that's not what the conversation is about.
Right. Right. Mhm. Okay. Well, I appreciate that, Joseph.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely going to practice that.
And we've been listening, and you've been listening, and you've recognized that criteria.
Yes. I have. The underlying beliefs about like you even mentioned that if I don't have it all under control or I don't know what's going to happen, then, there's fear that it's all going to kind of come back to bite me, kind of thing. Like those underlying beliefs, um, do they just shift or transform in this process of?
Yes,
Okay. Okay, good.
that's
Yeah.
what happens, but you don't have to do it. So we don't have to get
Yeah.
into all of the mechanics of your brain and how it's wired in with the body and how you have the impulses that are sort of grooved in there and practiced. All of that happens automatically. It can be
Okay.
helpful to learn the how to help convince yourself to engage in the process, but knowing how the car works isn't the same as driving it to the store. So that's what we're talking about here, is really just engaging the process through that recognition.
Yeah. Okay. Hmm.
I have a question that's similar to what you're talking about. Now, um, why do like I know I can shift my thoughts and all this kind of things like that or create something, but when something like I have a pain or some sickness or
Mm.
something, I automatically go into that sickness instead of like like I become that instead of me. Like right now, I'm calm and I'm peace and I'm thinking and I'm also sending Marilyn some positive energy as she's talking. So I'm creating that. We can do that for each other. But as soon as something happens, we're like, oh my God, why me? Or I'm sick. Like you automatically goes there right away.
It's a long trail that you've been following that finally
Hmm.
gets you to that place. And then you're reacting to the outcome, which can work in either your favor or against it. Of course, in this aspect, we're talking about not working in your favor.
Yeah.
By the time it's already come about, now you're reacting to the event and to the circumstance where it got started in that conversation that we just had. It seemed like an innocent question, if you would. It felt like a curiosity that wanted to be fulfilled, but underlying that was that state of being of insecurity, of not feeling comfortable. And you don't take that as the criteria until it's taken you so far down the road.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So what do you do at that point? Whatever you can. In other words, focus on the breath, go for a walk, whatever it takes.
Hmm.
But if the question is, what's wrong and how do I fix it? Be careful with that approach. Hmm.
So as these situations arise where we have walked down the path to, an event that then kind of, you know, oh my gosh, my blood pressure is ridiculously sky high. What's wrong with me? Are those opportunities then for us to actually shift? Like, are they opportunities for us to evolve past that in a way or evolve through that or?
We want to have a conversation about that, about the merits and the sort of intellectual discussion about how this all ties together. But we don't want to make it in the context of this conversation about that event when something's gone wrong. We want to make it right here, right now, is this discussion that you just brought up. We know you feel that curiosity and that intensity. How does that feel? In other words, why are we talking about this? The only reason you're bringing this up is because it's coming from a place of something's not quite right.
Yes. It's so that I understand that.
But isn't that what we're talking about here? Trying to figure it out, trying to have that understanding. So on the other side, there is some incredible relief.
Oh, yeah.
And we get it. It's a habit.
Yeah.
It's ingrained into your physical body. It's ingrained into your cells. So there is that momentum. There is that inertia.
And what you're saying is don't even bother to, and I know this is, I'm just, kind of saying this, I don't really know what you mean, but, don't even bother to look at that or ponder that reason why things appear as they appear, but to maintain your good feeling state or your energetic state.
Because you can ponder it from two different approaches. You can ponder it from the place of, I need to figure this out to solve this problem, or you can ponder it from the, I'm feeling wonderful in this moment and I enjoy thinking about the mechanics of life.
Right.
And so we don't want to make any hard and fast delineations with this, because then we get lost in the words.
Yeah.
That's not the criteria. Criteria is more tension or less tension.
Tension. Hypertension. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
And the best part is that the answers and the solutions that you're trying to figure out through this tension will actually come to you through the letting go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
If that's any consolation, but we don't want that to be the reason.
That you do it. Yeah.
Just enjoy it. Because as soon as you place an ulterior motive on finding that state of being, then there is a condition placed upon it, which then always sort of keeps it at arm's length. Just a little bit. It comes closer and closer, but it's not until you disregard the conversation or the intellectual merits or the necessity or the reality of it.
The wisdom or the, feeling of that peaceful heart place, that it's okay. And it's okay. And I can just be. Is that feels like it feels like a different kind of vibration, if you will, or a
It is.
different, yeah, like, okay, it feels like a different state of being, different, like, and it coming from this energy, like, of my heart. Yeah.
So you have the awareness, you have the criteria, you have the ability to decide and to choose.
Could you say that again?
You have the ability to choose, you have the awareness of the choice, And now it's just about practice.
And the criteria is tension, no tension.
Tension or release.
Tension or release. Yeah, tension or release. Release. Oh my God.
Indeed. Feels a little out of control. And that's why the tension is there, because you think it keeps you in control.
Oh, that's so interesting. But yes, that is the feeling. Yeah. It's funny because I've been wanting to sleep a lot more, just sleep like since this weekend.
Well, what does that tell you? Sleep is what? Tension or release?
Release, definitely. And that's the appeal. That's like the feeling that I've really been enjoying is from the sleeping is the, oh my gosh, this just feels so like relaxed, you know? So yeah. And yeah, but no, I'm not gonna say but. Yeah.
And so what you just did in that recognition and choosing not to go there and to let this flow, that's a little shift. It's a little new groove formed.
Mm.
And so it gets easier and easier and easier.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the question sometimes comes up, well, so what? So what? Well, the so what is those grooves of tension that you have placed. You're calling it neuroplasticity in this time. That practice. Crossed wires mess everything up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Boy, I think
So
oh, go ahead.
would rather have a conversation about all of the wonderful things that feel wonderful and how much you're looking forward to doing them and how good it feels to ponder them and all of that. Would rather spend this time having that conversation than what have I done wrong? How can I fix it and make sure it never happens again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. What have I done wrong?
Tension.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's another thing you can say to yourself?
I haven't done anything wrong.
Did you feel that?
Yeah.
Tension and release.
And nobody else has done anything wrong either. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's good. That's really right in the moment. Yeah. Yeah, so oh.
So that's the state of being.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you wanted the answer to those questions to help you get to anyway.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. It's true. That state of peace and just it's all okay.
And
Mm-hmm.
here you are. So now you practice it and you practice it and you practice it and you give it a week. And you don't pay lip service to it, but you experience it. And that's when you take your blood pressure.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm okay. Everybody else is okay. It's all good. Yep. And it's going to be sunny tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Indeed.
And you deserve it.
Oh, and I deserve it. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Thank you. I'd really like to jump in that water behind you, though, Anson.
Jump on in.
It looks so inviting. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else that was a lot.
So the work is just to remember and to practice. So you
Yeah.
can write it down, tension or release. You can write
Yeah.
it down on a piece of paper,
Yeah.
somewhere you'll see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I love what you said, that's the criteria, and then I have the choice. Yeah. So I'm definitely, it's so helpful and it feels so loving and good. So yeah.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Okay.
In other words, we spoke of this energy coming in and flowing as the wind, and the flag is all relaxed and the wind comes and whips it up. So that's where you are now. You're that relaxed flag, and now the inner energy can carry you forward.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to do all the what ifs. No, I recognize that as the pattern that I can choose to let go of, that I can choose to.
And now
And now
do it.
I'm doing it.
Indeed.
All right. Thank you so much, Joseph.
Yes, indeed.
Appreciate your guidance. And thank you, Anson.
You're welcome.
Mm.
You are as refreshing as that ocean behind me.
Oh. I love that. Yeah. Maybe that's why I'm like, give me that ocean.
Yes.
Yeah. It's great. No, I can definitely feel the release. So, yeah, feels good.
And that's how you know it's working.
Right.
Excellent. Shift of energy here. Feeling
Yeah.
good. Process in place.
Mhm.
Anything from anyone?
No, I think I'm just going to bask in this for a little while.
When our work here is done and we are complete.
Thank you.
That was nice.
Thank you, Aaron.